Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Do you think William Ruto could not find any other person to appoint instead of appointing Joshua Kutuny? Because on Friday, William Ruto made some appointments to his...
Sasa imegawika mara mbili. Kuna mtu ambaye anataka haki, anapenda Wakenya na ni mnyenyekevu. Na ndani ya Jubilee kuna mtu wa dhulma, udikteta, ujanja na wizi. Hiyo sasa ndio tabia ambazo tunaweza kuchambua Jubilee. Na ndio sisi wengine ambao tunapenda taifa tutaenda na mtu ambaye ni mnyenyekevu, mwenye heshima na ni mwenye mtu ambaye anaitwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Hapo ndio sisi tuko kwa sasa. Kama mtu anataka urais na anaweza kusomea Uhuru leo na Uhuru ndio president, atafanya nini kesho akikuwa rais?
He appointed Sally Kosgei, he appointed Julius Karangi, and he appointed Joshua Kutuny. If you look at those appointments, do you think they were just made for the sake of it? And that's why I keep on telling you on this platform that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. And that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing in politics just happens for the sake of it. I want us to do a critical analysis and understand why William Ruto decided to pick on Joshua Kutuny to appoint as the chair of the Kenya Copyright Board. Because if you ask me, there are several other individuals who actually campaigned for William Ruto, but they are yet to find space in government. But despite the fact that Joshua Kutuny was one of his harshest critic, William Ruto still ended up appointing him. Why do you think he appointed Joshua Kutuny?
Sisi tukitafuta rais wa Kenya hii, tunatafuta mtu ambaye ni mnyenyekevu, ulimi yake ni nyepesi na ana utu. Kama leo uko na nafasi kubwa ambayo umepewa na Mungu, lakini kila ambacho inatoka kwa kinywa chako ni vitisho. Uhuru yasungumza hivi, wewe unaenda kutishia na unatuma wengine wamsomee Uhuru. Inamaanisha ukichukua nafasi ya kuongoza Kenya hii, sisi wengine tutakuwa kamiti.
Now, let me ask you this question once again. Why do you think William Ruto decided to pick on Joshua Kutuny? The truth of the matter is that that appointment is intended to achieve certain political objectives. And for us to understand those objectives, we need to go back a bit and figure out who is Joshua Kutuny. Joshua Kutuny was first appointed as a member of parliament, ODM member of parliament for Cherangany in 2007. You remember during that ODM wave. As fate would have it, Joshua Kutuny lost his seat in 2013. Again, during that time, there was Jubilee wave. But Joshua Kutuny actually explained why he lost the seat. Listening to him very briefly.
There was never going to be a Uhuru-Ruto partnership. Tuseme ukweli.
Yes.
And you know very well that Uhuru Kenyatta, his running mate was Eugene Wamalwa.
And Tony, I think you were in that secretariat.
Yes.
Because you were like the secretary and the coordinator for Uhuru Eugene axis.
Yes.
And of course, Ruto was to run with Makwiny.
Zipapa.
Yes. And I remember there was, they had agreed that it was on a Friday.
Yes.
One of the Fridays, that all these groups had agreed that Uhuru will go to Bungoma, get an endorsement by the people from the region, and then of course I have his Eugene as his deputy president.
I even wrote the speech for Eugene.
I remember yes. Very well. And Ruto was to fly to Mombasa. It was supposed to be Tononoka declaration, Azimio la Tononoka. And then we were to have Makwiny as Ruto's deputy, and of course Ruto has his, the presidential candidate. I thwarted that, the whole arrangement, personally. And I remember, because earlier before I talked to Ruto, and I told Ruto, if you go this separate way, you will not win. Raila will be number one. Uhuru will be number two. you will be number 3. And if we decide to go for a runoff,
Yes, Mheshimiwa.
second round, no one will beat Raila because our people will go to Raila because, of course, they had a soft spot for Raila.
Yes.
But, of course, he didn't want to listen. But it is Uhuru whom I managed to convince. And I told Uhuru, don't go to Bungoma, but have another meeting. Then
You
we will
know,
come
so Kenyans can
and endorse
remember.
you.
I want to be for
Yes.
Kenyans to remember this history.
Yes.
At the launch of TNA,
Yes.
the only person who spoke was the president and Wamalo.
Yes.
And even Ruto was present, not allowed to speak.
We came as members. But, of course, you remember at that time,
Ikakuwa kali.
we had pushed Uhuru to form a party because he didn't have a party.
Yeah, the TNA.
And we challenged him, I remember, when we went to Jamlake's constituency.
Yes.
Now, the same day...
Uhuru was going to Bungoma to declare.
Yes.
Yes,
So
I know.
we managed to convince Uhuru. And I told Uhuru, you don't have to go to Bungoma. You need to have another meeting. Then we will endorse you as a presidential candidate and declare Ruto as his deputy. Of course, at that time, we had the instruments of the politics. We had the network.
So you're confirming
Because,
what
yes,
I said before the break. The
exactly.
fear of Baba
Yes.
put these people together.
Exactly.
Not the
Because
using-
me, I knew if they were going to run separately,
Yes.
Baba was going to win.
Yes.
That was going to be a straight win. And in fact, we had a principle that all of us, we had agreed, the people in the technical team, we had said that if you give Baba to run against Uhuru without Ruto as a pair, Raila will win. If you give Ruto to run against Raila without Uhuru as a pair, Baba was going to win. So we had to come up with a formula. We persuaded Uhuru. Finally, he agreed that I would not go to Bungoma, but then he will go to Ngong.
And then for those who don't know,
So,
and you and I
yes,
know, they flew to Dubai, the famous flight to
Right,
Dubai,
yes.
in order to. But there was a lot of people who were arguing
So
then.
before then,
Yes.
before even you raised that other argument, so we went to Suswa, homecoming of Sakuda, while our group was waiting for me in Mombasa, only for them to see the breaking news at 4 that I've endorsed Uhuru as presidential candidate and Ruto as a deputy president. And that was the turning point for this thing. And of course, it was now, the big business now was for me to convince every other person that the rationale in endorsement of this are these issues. And that is why today we have government. And I am proud of that. But I told Uhuru, endorsing you will make me lose my seat.
So I've played that clip for you to try and understand where Joshua Kutuny is coming from and why Ruto has appointed him. Again, in 2017, Joshua Kutuny made a comeback. He was elected as a Jubilee. Remember, during that time, there was the merger, URP, TNA, they merged. He was elected as a member of parliament again in 2017. But between 2013 and 2017, during the period he lost, he was the political advisor to Uhuru Kenyatta. Which means Joshua Kutuny understands Uhuru Kenyatta, he understands William Ruto, because he was based at State House. He was the main guy. Then, of course, in 2022, he lost because he opposed William Ruto's presidential bid. Then, just a few months later, we are seeing Kutuny getting appointed to the government, while people like the former Migori governor, Obado, are still getting appointment as UDA coordinators for Nyanza. So in this video, I want to explain to you guys why Ruto has appointed Joshua Kutuny to his government. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, today is my birthday. Today is my birthday. I've seen several of you guys have actually wished me my happy birthday on somewhere on this YouTube channel. But this is your opportunity to wish me happy birthday. And of course, you can also do me, you know what you do? The call thing. Let's see your coffee, that call thing. You can do it using the numbers you are seeing on your screen there. I want to do this video, then I'll step out a bit and maybe tutakutana baadaye, but don't usiniache kwa birthday livo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why do you think William Ruto appointed Joshua Kutuny? In the last election, the Rift Valley was really united behind William Ruto. But William Ruto had Joshua Kutuny on the other side, giving him serious political problems, making noise. He had former Nandi Hills Member of Parliament, Alfred Keter. He had several others. But Kutuny stood out because he was a Member of Parliament. He was the Deputy Secretary General of UDA party. Of Jubilee Party, Uhuru Kenyatta's party. But why do you think Ruto has opted to appoint him? Number one, in my view, William Ruto is currently rewarding Jubilee officials who actually handed over that party to him. William Ruto made attempts to forcefully take over Jubilee Party. The matter is still pending somewhere in court, but I believe he might have his way ultimately. So Kutuny has been one of the officials of UDA party. That appointment probably is a reward. I know he has rewarded several of them, including the chairman who has been appointed to some board, who else, several other individuals. In fact, I think David Murade mentioned some of those guys who have been appointed by Ruto. So basically, in my view, I think Ruto is just rewarding some of former Uhuru Kenyatta's allies who are now working with him. And that's acceptable. Number two, I also tend to think that Ruto is keen on reducing the noise from Rift Valley. And that's why Ruto is currently trying to bring on board those who are in Azimio side, to his side, those who are opposed to him. Remember, he has already appointed the former Bomet governor, Isaac Ruto. Then he has also appointed now Sally Kosgei. Sally Kosgei was also one of the key allies of Raila Odinga from the Rift Valley. He has also appointed her. How many do you think have also been appointed? So the idea generally is to reduce the noise coming from the Rift Valley, because the Rift Valley, the mountain, voted for Ruto to the last man. But the noise is what Ruto doesn't want to hear from Rift Valley. People like Kutuny, if you don't manage them well, as much as they might not stop you from doing whatever you are doing, but their noise can really be irritating. And that's what Ruto is trying to avoid. I'm not sure whether he has not reached out to someone like, let's say, Alfred Keter, because the other day you saw what happened when Alfred Keter attended some funeral with the members of parliament from Rift Valley, where he was actually allowed to speak. The members of parliament from that region were never allowed to speak. So that's number three. Number two. Number three, in my view, I think it could be William Ruto's strategy to win the Cherangany parliamentary seat. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto knows and he believes that he might not get the same number of support, the same number of members of parliament he got from the mountain. Again, in fact, in Kiambu, there is a general feeling that Uhuru Kenyatta will have a bigger say in determining who becomes members of parliament, senators, and the rest. So which means UDA as a political party, their numbers might reduce. So to avoid that, Ruto has to be very strategic. And that's what he's doing with the appointment of people like Joshua Kutuny. Being strategic, identify constituencies, because if you look at the last election, Joshua Kutuny was number 3 in Cherangany. Yeah, he had, I think, like 5,000 votes. Then the UDA person was number 2 with 26,000 votes. And number 1 was DAP Kenya, who also had 26,000 votes. The difference between them, I think, was around 700 votes. So it means if Joshua Kutuny had not been on the ballot, probably things would have changed. So for me, Ruto is looking at winning more seats in Rift Valley, and that can explain why he's targeting even the Turkana governor. He's targeting now Narok. Ruto is targeting Kajiado, where ODM had the majority. And lastly, it could also be about the 2027 politics. Ruto is actually keen on consolidating his support base. Where is William Ruto's support base? William Ruto's support base is in the Rift Valley. Trans Nzoia is one of the Rift Valley counties. The governor is ODM. There's a way ODM also wins seats there. I think they have 2 seats there. Azimio has 2 seats there. So William Ruto would want a situation where the Rift Valley is consolidated so that he can then now focus on the rest of the country. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.